Welcome to the first episode of Nanotron Who XP, where you can profit from my experience with how-tos, reviews, and everyday carry. Now, let's answer that question first. Nanotron Who, right? That is a question. So Nanotron deriving from my childhood as a sort of nickname for myself in terms of identity on the internet, like email and stuff. That's deriving from my middle name, Nathaniel, like Nat at the beginning of that. So that's where Nanotron comes from. Who as sort of a nod towards Doctor Who, a British television series. Love it. It's my favorite show. Highly recommend. I mean, it's been on for the past 60 years, or close to 60 years. So if it's been on that long, it's got to mean something, right? So that's where that comes from. XP being short for experience, which is what these videos are going to be about. This video is going to be sort of an introduction, and 2 years ago on my Instagram, I went ahead and did a survey asking what should my first video be. Yeah, 2 years ago. It's been a while, but it's here. And I decided no more, that I'm going to be putting this off. So here it is. And the viewers, you, wanted for me to talk about my pieces, my art pieces from high school, because that's what I was known for in the high school days. So I'm going to go ahead and look off of my Twitter, or my X account, as a sort of reference, because I did most of the uploads there. So my first piece that I did in high school was, all of these were projects that were assigned, so I didn't make any money off of it. I didn't, because the first one is going to be a Doctor Who piece, like those. So I didn't copyright anything or anything, because it was an assignment, right? So the first one, it was a series of 3 pieces, these Doctor Who pieces over here. I took a picture of my TARDIS, which is what that blue police box is, and then I did it in 3 mediums. So I did in pencil, in watercolor, and in this sort of wax and ink type mix. Essentially, I colored it in crayon wax, and then I put black ink all over it, and I scraped off the ink, and that showed the color. So those are these 3 pieces, and that was done in October 2015, and December 2015. And then after that, I entered into a vase competition, and I finished the piece on February of 2016. And this piece, I don't have the title here, but it's a piece where it's me and sort of a thought bubble conglomerate on top of me, and in the bigger bubbles, those were the people that I had valued in terms of friendships the most at that time. And you could see that the thought bubbles are on the bottom, on the sides, with faces that are faded, and that sort of represents that friendships come and go, and the value to a friendship degrades over time depending on that friendship. And even the bubbles that are on top, most of those are faded as of currently. So that just goes to show the meaning that the thought of your friends, the value of your friends, are just a bubble, and they could pop and they drift away over time. So that's the meaning of that one. And then the next one is just another series of 2 pieces done of a picture of me, and not really any meaning to it, other than just I needed to do a self-portrait in 3 mediums, but I only finished 2. One of them being pen, so like a ballpoint pen, and the other Crayola markers. So this is the pen, and this is the Crayola one. The way I was able to accomplish this sort of water type drift was accomplished through spraying water on the markers, and then I went back and put more detail into it, and you let gravity do its thing in letting it fall. So that's how you do that. Again, no meaning to it, but that's what the assignment was. So next we have, and those were done in October 2016 and February 2015. Sorry, 17. And before that, before the watercolor one, I actually did another one in November of 2016, and this one was for the Virgen de Guadalupe competition, so the Virgin Mary. And I got a student at the time to pose with a blanket, and that's what this is. So not too much meaning. It was just another assignment for a competition, and it looked right? Yeah. So then in February 2017, we have a piece that is in pen, and we have a student walking through a very faded hallway, because typically hallways are not all that. The point is that it's not a lively place for a lot of students. I thought of it sort of as a prison, because I was forced to go, couldn't leave. So that was just my take at the time. So that sort of is shown through the background, in that it's not a very nice place. And this person isn't in the right of state of mind, because in the background also we have 2 individuals walking in hand away. So they're holding hands, they're walking away, and that sort of meant to symbolize that that person was romantically involved, or romantically considering, like they wanted that person romantically, but someone else won, someone else got the girl, someone else got the boy, someone else got that want, and it shows that they're not happy about it, but you got to move on. So that's what that piece is about. The next, we have something from May 2017, and this one I really liked. This was my first legitimate painting I did, and I really liked it. I really liked how it came out. When I first started it, it was not coming out good, and I asked my teacher, I was like, how do I blend? Like, how do I paint? Like, this is my first painting, I don't know how to paint. And he showed me a technique that helps you blend. So I was like, oh, okay, you gotta add water and stuff. So I spent all night that night doing it, because it was due the next day for a competition. So that's how it came out. The meaning behind this, and the title behind this, is Persephone. Persephone, coming from the Greek ideology, or methodology. It's Greek. It's a Greek story that where Persephone was this individual, and I'm a little fuzzy, I should have researched it again, but essentially she is a sort of goddess. I think she is the goddess of spring, or growth, right? Life. And she was ultimately tricked into marrying Hades, the god of the underworld. And once a year, around springtime, she's allowed to emerge from the underworld into the regular world. And during that time, because she's that goddess, everything grows. Hence, typically she comes out during spring, which is why spring happens, according to the story. So this is her coming out of the depths from the underworld, and it's on a piece of wood showing bark as sort of symbolism towards that life, that nature. So that's Persephone. I really like that piece. Then next we have a piece that I did for my father as some sort of gift, and it's just baby me and my sister, and it was from a picture of us as children, as infants. So that one was done in pencil and was gifted, and it was in July of 2017 that it was completed. Then also in July of 2017, we have my best friend Michael holding baby Michael. So I got a picture of him, and I drew him holding a picture of, not picture, but I got the reference from a picture of him as a baby. So it's Michael holding himself as a baby. So this one was also done in pencil and also done as a gift. He requested it for his mother. I believe it was for her birthday or Mother's Day, something like that. Point is, it was a gift. Then in February of 2017, we have a piece called Reminiscence. Now this one I entered into a competition, VASE, the Visual Arts Scholastic event, so one of the major ones at our school. And the title is called Reminiscence because it is meant to look back on memories with my family members. I mean, obviously not all of my family members, but it's of my sister and of my dad. So I got two pictures of them, combined them, I put flowers in the background, and that was meant to, those were, I mean, it's not too much of a meaning because I don't really have a memory with flowers, but it looked good, right? But the meaning behind it really is that I've gone through a lot with these two, and for a while it was just us three. So we created a lot of memories together, and we got through a lot of stuff together. So it's nice to reminisce those times of such connection, and I wanted to put that onto a piece. So that's what that is. Then we have a piece done in April. Oh, before I go to the next one, that piece was done also in pencil with a mix of watercolor for the background. Next one, also done in pencil, also done very quickly in a night because I was a procrastinator. So this one is a piece of four of my very good friends that I had in art class at the time. So it was an elective, so we weren't very stressed in terms of the projects, not projects, but it's an elective. It's not a stressful class. So that gives you time to create bonds. So these bonds were strong at the time. Unfortunately, I'm not very close to any of these people anymore. Hence, the reason why I did the other piece is that friendships fade. I mean, it's life. But they still hold a place in my heart, and I still care about them. If they ever wanted to reach out, I won't turn them down. So I just did a piece of them, and it was meant to represent friendship and joy that comes from friendships. And this is obviously in front of a high school, so those are the times that a lot of friendships are bonded, that they're created. So that was in April of 2018. May of 2018, I did a piece for a competition. This one was... Well, it was requested that we do some sort of theme of running with the bulls. So I did a bull with a bunch of color, and it was done with color pencil. It's actually over there. Next is also one of my very favorite pieces. This one got me a lot of attention and did a lot for me. So this was also entered into that vase competition. It got me to state, so that next level from regional to state. And then this one was done with chalk pastels. It was done in, again, September of 2018. And so the title of this piece is called Binary. So there's only two primary colors in there. But the meaning behind it is that there's not only two options. So binary, meaning only two options, like the options presented in the piece, which is girl and boy, black and white, red and blue. So only two options, apparently. But if you believe there are only two options, or two polar options, then you're ignorant. Hence the blindfolds and the covering of the eyes, because there's so much more. I mean, if you take only the colors, for instance, there's a mix of red and blue, which would make purple, and like there's different shades of blue, and there's different shades of red, and in order to make those colors, you needed to introduce the white and black, which technically aren't colors, but the point is there's not just two ingredients or two polar options. So that's the meaning behind that piece. And not only did it win me the vase competition, but it also got me a scholarship at another competition. So did a lot for me. I'm very proud of that piece. Next, we have this piece called Barnett Newman. It was another assignment. But it was done with chalk as the background, chalk pastel as the background, and charcoal. So this was my first charcoal piece, and that was done in October of 2018. So next we have another piece that was just an assignment, and this is just a medal. It's just called The Medal. I'm not entirely sure what it is. I'm pretty sure it's a military medal. This was done in November of 2018, and this was also done in color pencil. Then we have December of 2018, and we have this piece actually in the background. It's my cat. Her name is Mercy, and the title is called Mercy, but there's a little bit more to just that. In terms of the meaning. So in the piece, she's being held by a hand. So she's gripped, and she's in a little cat jail suit. So essentially, she's pleading for mercy, like, go easy on her, because she was a bad cat. Not very deep, but the title is more than just her name. So this was also done in crayon, and I believe the style is known as a batik. So this one also is done with crayon, but rather than scraping it like the other crayon one, you crumple it up and then you put ink on it, black ink, and you let the ink go into those little crumped up crevices, and then you wipe off the rest. So the wax prevents it from getting all black, but those cracks allow those that ink to seep through. That's why there's so many lines for that. So next we have a picture that is titled "Me is what makes me, me." So the meaning behind this is that we have an individual, and in the reflection of her sunglasses is her. So she's reflecting upon herself, and essentially we have her and a reflection of her in her glasses, and the picture was stripped into strips, so cut into strips, and it was woven kind of like a basket. So the picture of her is what made this piece, right? So again, not very deep, but still there. So next we have this other piece in February of 2019, and this is a mix of paint and color pencil. The title is Ecstasy, or X Stacy. So this was one of my exes. Her name wasn't Stacy, but it worked. Another play on words, because ecstasy sounds like the drug ecstasy, and that is sort of a drug that makes you happy. But it's a toxic happiness, and so that relationship wasn't exactly healthy. So it was toxic, but it was enjoyable at the time, and it seemed, when we were together, it was happy, but it wasn't a happiness that could be sustained. Right, so it was toxic, so hence ecstasy, hence her being the subject, and it's just a bunch of stuff that kind of related to her, like her age, the area code, her name, and just some abstractness in the background. And she's playing the violin because that's another thing that can cause joy. Music, not exactly toxic, but it kind of fit the theme. Next we have Binary Remastered. So I added some more detail to it, added some highlights. Then we have a piece done in April 25th, 2019. This piece titled El Paso. So we have an El Paso map, and in the mix of the map we have my art teacher, and I ended up gifting this to him as a farewell gift. And the medium is, I printed that map and I drew it with pen and watercolor. So that's that. And then the next one, we have quite a few chalk pieces. So we had a chalk the block competition every year, and we also had a high school version of that chalk competition. And these are a few, and a lot of them, actually all of these, ended up placing something. Then we have, and all these were done in groups, and the team is really what made it so special. It's quite a nice experience. That's the end of it. Those are basically all of my pieces, my art pieces from high school, and thank you for tuning in. I really appreciate everyone who responded to that survey. So this is the first video. I know it's a little late, but it's here, and the plan is to make videos, at least deliver one video at least once a week, and so we'll stick to that consistency. I really want to do this. This is what I want to do, not as a job, but I've been wanting to do this for a while, and I want to help people through my experiences, hence the how-tos, reviewing stuff, and my hobbies like art, everyday carry. That's what EDC is. And so just as a heads up for the videos to come, we just finished the introduction. I might do some little shorts on the pieces after high school, or maybe a part 2. And then after that, I'm going to go ahead and give you guys what isn't taught in school in terms of how to manage your finances. We're going to do a little broad breakdown of that, and then we're going to go diving into each of those topics. And then, so after that one, we're going to talk about my everyday carry, and that's going to be broken down in little sections as well. And the last one that I have planned is saving the planet one change at a time. So I'm very eco-friendly, and I'm going to share all the changes that I've personally made. So stay tuned for that. Subscribe so that way you don't miss those. And thank you for tuning in. Have a nice one.